To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
My dearest friends, we are nearing the end of our tour. Quick reminder that if you have any spooky or scary stories about Disneyland, share them in the comments below. A member of my Ghost Relations department will be with you shortly, and you may see your response featured in the Halloween special. So remember, any creepy, spooky, scary stories about Disneyland or the Haunted Mansion, leave them down in the comments below. And now we move on to the home stretch of our tour. When the Haunted Mansion opened at Disneyland in 1969, there were a lot of effects that were present that aren't today. Cobwebs in the attic that would brush against your face as you rode by, bats that would flutter and fly over your heads, but there was one very special effect in the attic scene that only lasted a few days. After guests passed by the bride on their right-hand side, they would pass by yet another figure. This figure took the form of an old man wearing a cloak and a top hat, holding a cane in his right hand and a hat box in his left. The man's head would periodically disappear from atop his shoulders and reappear in the hat box. After a few seconds of it sitting in the hat box, it would disappear from the box and reappear where we saw it before. Because of this effect, the figure was given the name of the Hatbox Ghost, a name that has become legend in the Disney parks community. But how long was the original Hatbox Ghost in the Haunted Mansion, and why was he removed in the first place? It is often cited that the effect of his head disappearing and reappearing in the hat box didn't work quite as well as Wed wanted it to. While his head was in his hat box, you could still see the head on his shoulders and vice versa. The lighting and the technology just really wasn't there for the time. I imagine that the effect was done by having two physical head props, one on top of his shoulders and one in the hat box. Whichever head you were supposed to see at a given time was illuminated by a small light, and when that head was supposed to disappear, the light would turn off. But even though the light was turned off, you could still kind of see the head through the darkness. So with the effect being a bust, Disney decided to pull the plug on the Hatbox Ghost altogether. He apparently was present in the mansion during cast member previews before it officially opened to the public, but just a few days or weeks after the mansion opened officially, he was removed. There wasn't even a photo of the Hatbox Ghost until this one surfaced on doombuggies.com. This is the original Hatbox Ghost figure, and Disney History Institute even found a video of the Hatbox Ghost in the attic during the opening months of the Haunted Mansion. But guests would have to wait 45 years in order to see the Hatbox Ghost for themselves. May 9th of 2015 will go down in history as one of the most important days in Haunted Mansion history. Months after showing a test animatronic at D23, in May of that year, Disney finally reintroduced the Hatbox Ghost into the attic of the Haunted Mansion. The figure is a bit different from the original. It's a little bit taller, and the effect actually works now thanks to projection animatronics. You can see similar projection-faced animatronics in attractions like the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Frozen Ever After, and Radiator Springs Racers. After so many long years, the effect finally worked the way they wanted it to all those years ago back at the Glendale campus. But according to the story of the Haunted Mansion, the Hatbox Ghost never even left in the first place. He just dematerialized for a while. And after 4 long decades, he finally rematerialized next to his possible bride. Have you ever noticed how Constance Hatchaway is famous for chopping off the heads of her husbands? And how the Hatbox Ghost's head disappears from his shoulders? Not to mention all of the other Hatboxes around him that may or may not hold other heads. Listen, I'm just saying. So be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Were you there in 2015 to see the return of the Hatbox Ghost? Or were you there in 1969 to see the original Hatbox Ghost? I'd love to hear your stories, and I'll see you all a little later for tomorrow's special episode of Legends of the Haunted Mansion.